Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm your host, Preston M. Smith. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the Living Artist Podcast. I'm Preston M. Smith, at PMS Artwork everywhere on internet land and socials. I want to thank you for landing on this podcast. Whether you're a professional artist, just getting started in the art world, a collector of art, or just consider yourself a creative person, this podcast has something for you. I like to think of it as a fun way to rant and talk to other creative people about living the life of an artist, surviving and getting ahead in the art world, and enjoying your life. But most importantly, not waiting until you're dead to make it happen. All right, let's get started.
Oh, wow. It's like, I can't even believe it. I have the whole intro to myself. It's wild.
I'm standing right here.
Oh, hey, little buddy. I didn't see you there.
Just like a celebrity. Self-absorbed.
Oh, wow. What's with the aggression, little buddy? I mean, I don't know where all this is coming from.
Wilson! Castaway, anyone?
Oh, wow. I remember that. It's crazy. It's wild.
The joke's on you, buddy. Whatever, just play the podcast. Take it away, Preston.
Welcome back to another episode from, that's right, everybody, the floor. Another in the series of my Floorcast episodes. Give you an update on how I'm doing later, but we're going to get right into the podcast today. And yes, the intro does mean something, and maybe you'll get it in a roundabout way here after we talk today. But we talk a lot about, what can you do? What can you add to your repertoire, to your toolkit? What things can you go out and do? Pounding the pavement, being proactive, mindset stuff, all these different strategies. But I thought today we would talk about what we can subtract. We have talked about this a little bit in the past, but I wanted to go into it in a little more detail today. We are just as much a series of things that we are accumulating as the things we are actually, producing and putting out into the world. And I would argue some of the stuff we are accumulating actually can get in the way of what we're putting out there and what we are producing in the world and the quality of what we're producing. So today we're going to talk about that, and hopefully it is something of interest to you. So what do I mean when I talk about subtracting? I don't necessarily mean subtracting as much as I mean filtering. We are always like a sponge absorbing all of the information around us at any given time. And you can argue, as an artist, you want to be absorbing as much as you can. You want to be taking in current events. You want to be taking in politics. You want to be taking in culture. You want to be taking the temperature of the society and, be up on whatever the current zeitgeist is, right? And, I would agree with that. But I would also agree that we can get overloaded. Almost the same with, what I'm dealing with my illness is you can have a bucket that's overflowing. And, if it's overflowing, you can't really put anything else into it. And you also can't really get well until you start emptying the bucket. And I feel the same thing is, true with us as artists and our mindset, our mentality, and our success as artists, how we push forward and, try to get ahead in our careers and advance. Sometimes our bucket is overfilled, or sometimes our mindset is, bogged down by a lot of crap or a lot of negativity or a lot of fear or a lot of stress or any combination of these factors and other things you can throw into the mix too. So this is kind of what I mean about, putting on like a stronger filter into what we're taking in. And that means sometimes you have to be conscious about what you're consuming and what you're taking in, because, it also aligns with manifestation, the law of attraction, everything, just, positivity, abundance mindset, visualization, all of that stuff. Like, you cannot really put out a bunch of good stuff if you're suppressing a lot of negativity and a lot of bad crap in your life. And that doesn't even mean like positive content, like happy, joyful content. No, it just means putting out art that is true to yourself and true to your experience, and something that is, unhindered by the toxicity that we can bring in. So what do I mean specifically about like toxicity? Well, I'm going to use a little bit of an analogy with EMFs. Now, you can argue till the cows come home. Oh, EMFs, there's no such thing as harm, from EMFs and EMR, like electromagnetic frequency or electromagnetic fields or electromagnetic radiation. You can argue that, there's a lot of naysayers out there. A lot of them have corporate ties, but the science is out there. We don't even need to argue about it, but just for the sake of argument, let's say that EMFs exist and they are harmful to our brains and to our energy, right? Let's say, okay, we're being bombarded with that all the time. And if you can do some things to kind of mitigate that, to block a little bit of that or turn it off or distance yourself from it by, getting out in nature or, turning off your Wi-Fi or getting away from cell phone towers or getting away from like police stations that have very high EMRs and stuff like that. Okay, you're going to give yourself a little bit of a break and your body's going to relax a bit and your brain's going to relax a little bit and you might be able to kind of get into a state of homeostasis or get out of fight or flight, get into a place of healing. And it's the same thing with the toxicity we're bringing in our environment with the news or politics or, other artists or Instagram or, seeing other artists on Instagram or seeing groups on Instagram or, maybe there's people on Instagram who really bring you down. Like you're seeing them all the time. You're going and checking your feed and they're always popping up and maybe they're just a little phony or maybe they're doing stuff that is not really coming from like a good conscious place. And it just like kind of slowly eats away at you a little bit every time you go on Instagram. I had to stop going on Instagram for different reasons. One of them being my health. It was just adding undue stress to my nervous system as I'm trying to heal from this illness. So I've taken a break from it. But, it can do it on a much lesser level. You might not be ill, but you might be trying to stay in a positive state and create and put good work out there. And if you're going on there and it's just putting you in a bad state of mind, maybe you're not going to want to even get in the studio. Or maybe you're going to get in the studio, but you're not going to be clear-headed enough. You're not going to be in a state of like opening yourself up to receiving information and letting the creativity flow in a unhindered fashion, which is what we need as artists, right? You don't want to be bogged down by a bunch of this stuff. So same thing happens with the news. Same thing happens with politics. Same thing happens on the freeway, in traffic. Somebody's angry on the freeway or somebody, honks at you or somebody flips you off on the freeway or somebody, gives you bad service at the coffee shop in the morning before you're going to work or before you're getting into the studio. These things all add up and can bog us down over time. Yeah, maybe it's time to step up your filtration process. It's like if you're living in a, 1,400 square foot home and you've got this dinky little 200 square foot air filter in your house, you're not really going to be filtering out all the dust and pollen and mold and mycotoxins and all that stuff. You might want to invest in one of those industrial strength air scrubbers, and you will definitely see a difference in the air quality in your home if you get one of those. That's what we need to do on an artistic level. Maybe it's time to get an industrial sized toxicity scrubber and, scrub some of that out and see how we feel. See if we're able to breathe in some more creativity and abundance than we were in the past when some of the toxicity was actually bogging us down. Avoid the things that you can avoid. If you don't want to see somebody on your feed on Instagram, you can put filters on. You can set it so you don't see a certain person pop up. So that can be a little filter you put on there. You go on there, you curate the people that you want to see that add value to you, that get you inspired, that make you feel like creating. You try to curate a list of people like that, and maybe you weed out the people that are kind of sucking the energy from you or putting you into a bad mindset. You can do that also with the news. Maybe you need to take a break from the news for a while. Maybe you're watching the news every day, or maybe you get all these notifications on your phone that are bogging you down, that are putting you into a fear response, that are putting you into a fight or flight response. And that is, putting you into a state of high stress or anxiety, and it's getting in the way of your art production, or it's getting in the way of, how you show up in the world. So maybe you need to silence some of those notifications. Maybe you need to stop watching the news for a while. I know, there's going to be an argument of like, well, you need to be an informed citizen. And I agree with that. It is good to be an informed citizen, but I will also argue that it's impossible to not be informed in this day and age with our phones and the smartphones and the internet and just people talking, everything that we're being bombarded by from every angle. Like you're going to get the news on some level So maybe you just need to do a little bit of a detox, 30-day detox from the news, right? Or maybe you need to weed out certain people in your life, like certain toxic people who are bringing you down and, being a naysayer in your art career. Like maybe you're trying to do this and maybe people are just like, well, oh, that's great that you're trying. We love your art, but maybe you need to have something to fall back on. Or maybe you've given this enough time. Some of these kind of like seemingly well-meaning pieces of advice from people that are, disguised as good advice, but really they're just giving you bad energy and maybe projecting a little bit of their own insecurities on you. I mean, you need to be the gauge of that, and you need to have a strong filter to be able to understand if people are doing something from a negative place or not. But if you're getting a lot of that from certain family members or friends, a friend group or different artists, you can also take a little break from that. You can put a filter on your friends. You can put a filter on an artistic group. Maybe you think, oh, I just need to be a part of this artistic group, but you leave this artistic group every time feeling like shit, or feeling like you're unworthy, or feeling like, I'm just not as good as so-and-so or whatever. Maybe it's time to distance yourself from that group. Maybe it's time to be more selective about a different type of artist group that actually fills you up. I'm not saying that you shouldn't have critiques from time to time. A critique is necessary. And if you want to be critiqued on your work, then great. Make sure you're in that right mindset so you can actually receive it and not let it bring you down. But if you're just going to an artistic group to have positive energy or to fill you up to a place where you can actually be like, oh yes, this is what I needed to get into the world and to create and to feel good about my art, and you leave that group every time feeling like shit, okay, maybe that's not the group for you, right? Like I tried AA for a while when I was drinking a lot, and it didn't work for me. I'm not saying it doesn't work for other people. I've talked about this before. It just felt like, it was making me hyper focused on the drinking issue and like negative stories and like, oh, this was happening and this happened to me and oh, this probably not. So I just decided I was going to do it on my own, and I was going to fill myself up with positive things and like replace drinking with something positive, make more positive choices, wean myself off in a way that I could handle. And that worked for me. It doesn't work for everybody, but it's just all about the filter you want to put on your mindset. And
if you work as a manufacturing facilities engineer, installing a new piece of equipment can be as complex as the machinery itself. From prep work to alignment and testing, it's your team's job to put it all together. That's why it's good to have Grainger on your side. With industrial-grade products and next-day delivery, Grainger helps ensure you have everything you need close at hand through every step of the installation. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Your mentality and this human artistic experience, you need to be very selective nowadays because we are in the information age where we are bombarded by stuff. And it's very easy to get bogged down, blocked, fear-mongered, put into a state of fight or flight or stress or trauma, or triggered in any way you can think of. It is up to us to be more selective now. So what do we do with this information? Maybe you're like, okay, yeah, I get what you're saying. That resonates with me. Well, maybe you need to take a day or an afternoon and, get out the notepad, or get out the notepad on your phone and make a list of positives and negatives. What in your life is filling you up? What in your art career is filling you up and making you feel inspired, making you feel proactive, making you feel like, yes, I can do this, and giving you that kind of artistic fire? And what is sapping you of that? What on the other side is making you feel worse about yourself, making you feel scared, giving you that fear response, making you feel unsafe, or making you feel unworthy, making you feel like you're not good enough, you're not a good enough artist, or why even bother with this whole career path? Once you start doing that, I think it's pretty obvious. Like put in apps, put in news notifications, put in things you're watching on TV, programs, news sources, put in friends, put in artistic groups, put in anything that you can think of that could either fill you up, give you a positive experience as a human being or as an artist, and then the ones that are giving you a negative one or sapping you of that, or just filling up your bucket to a place where it's overflowing in a bad way. Not glasses half full. We're not talking about that. We're talking about a bucket of toxicity. How full is your bucket? And do you need to take some time to empty it out a little bit so you have some more space for your own creativity and positive mindset? So I think you get the point here. We're not going to belabor it anymore. I'm going to get back to some treatments here at home and try to empty my health bucket a little bit, my toxicity bucket, in a different way. so that I can heal as well. So hopefully this was something that was impactful for you, that made sense, and maybe you can use this as a tool. Sometimes it feels like you're doing everything right. You're being proactive. You're hitting all the artist groups. You're going to shows. You're getting in shows. You're getting in the studio. You're producing. You're doing all that good proactive stuff, and you're still not getting anywhere. Well, sometimes it can be as simple as, thinking about the things that are actually bogging you down and the things that are sapping you of that good, positive, artistic energy and filling you up with more toxicity than abundance. So make this list. Let me know what you think about it. Let me know if this works for you. And we look forward to bringing you another episode next week. Take care of yourselves, everybody. Take care of everybody else in your lives, and we'll see you next time.
You know what, Owen? I gotta give you some credit here. You seem cool as a cucumber. I'm giving you all this shit. It seems to be bouncing right off you. What's your secret?
Well, thanks, little buddy. It's wild. Most of the time I'm just really not paying attention.
Yeah, but you're responding to me.
I know. It's wild. It's like I just found out a way to go on autopilot.
Alright, wait a minute. Let me test this out. Oh, get up, Owen, get up here. Get closer. I'm gonna get right in your ear.
Okay, buddy. You do you.
Okay, ready? Owen! Wake up!
We're sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service at this time.
Oh, wow. Creepy. Well, I think we've all learned a valuable lesson today. Not really sure what it is, but I'm sure there's something in there. Until next time, this is Mumford, signing off. So long, suckers!
This has been the Living Artist Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I just want you to know that I appreciate you being here, and I'm grateful to be in your ears. Your art and creative life on this planet is meaningful, so thank you for sharing it with me. If you like this podcast, whatever platform you're listening to it on, please subscribe and share it with your friends. You can also leave me a positive review to show your support. This helps me to reach more people with the algorithmic magic and keep the show going strong. If you want to see more of what I do and check out the art that I create, you can visit my website at www.pmsartwork.com or follow me on social media everywhere at PMS Artwork. That's it for now. See you back here next time.